Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Miracle in Lane 2. This is a 2000 film. It's an hour and 29 minutes long. It stars Frankie Muniz. You know him from Malcolm in the Middle. This is a Disney Channel original movie, I believe so. It's a biography. It's a true story. It's based on a true story. And it's about Justin Yoder, a kid who is in a wheelchair. He has spina bifida, and yeah, he's pretty much lived pretty much all of his life, I think, in this way. He's had numerous surgeries over the years. Has to have drained fluid from the back of his head. He has to. It's not a fun existence, but he doesn't complain. It's pretty much how he lives his life. Now his family, especially the guys in his family, his dad. And his brother, they're both sports fanatics. They're both great at sports. They're both physically active. Everybody's physically active, and Justin wants to stand out himself. He wants to show himself. He played pee-wee baseball back in the day with a t-ball kind of situation. He was able to do that in his wheelchair, but he's trying to find ways to make himself distinct and get a trophy, like all the trophies that are on his brother's shelf. It's just frustrating for him. There's a neighbor named Vic, who's pretty much ornery and angry all the time and doesn't like kids. They get in the way, and but he has a secret. He has a really nice Corvette. It's a really nice car. It's 1958 or something like that. It's really nice. And it's in pristine condition. And one day, Justin runs across him at a local park after failing to do well at a chess tournament. He's like, okay, I'll just try chess tournaments at this point, and I can sit down there, and I just get a trophy at some point, hopefully. But he gets beat pretty easily by kids much younger than him. He's 12, by the way. He uses his disability to help Vic get more votes for his car, because people give donations to whichever car they like most, and Vic is not very good with people. He's just really mean. And so Justin sort of stands by him and says, hey, check out the car. And people start sort of pity voting, for the car. It helps him out. And he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, well, I want your trophy. I just want the trophy if you win, and if I help you out. And they make a deal, and they win. I'll tell you that much. But beyond that, they sort of build a bond through certain circumstances. One, Justin really screws something up really badly, and he's forced to spend a lot of time with Vic. And he also starts snooping around Vic's property, and he finds a reason why Vic is such a mean, lonely guy. But amongst things he finds is a soapbox derby race car that belonged to somebody very important to Vic. And so suddenly he gets on this whole kick of wanting to be a soapbox derby racer, because he has to sit down, and it's just something he could probably do. The thing is, Vic gets really angry when he finds the soapbox derby, and he doesn't want to help. He doesn't want to help with the soapbox derby racer. But Dad is very eager to help out. He's always been supportive of his older son. Justin has a brother, and his name's Patrick, or Seth. Patrick Levis plays Sam Yoder, or Seth Yoder. Anyway, Seth, he has all this pressure on himself because he's the athlete and he does everything, and he's really stressed out, and he has kind of a resentment towards his little brother because he keeps them from doing normal things as a family, and everything's always about him and his comfort and his needs. And so there's a bit of a contention there. It's kind of really rough at some points in the film where he tries, he treats him like a normal brother. By the way, nobody really treats him like he's different or strange or awful. Well, his brother treats him awful, but they don't treat him as if he's in a wheelchair. They treat him as a normal kid, which is great. But they throw the term special around, and every once in a while as is sort of a demeaning thing. And he's like, no, I'm just like everybody else. And yeah, Seth uses that in some cases, as a brother might do if he's resentful. And when Dad spends a whole lot more time with Justin, helping with the soapbox derby, and eventually they get Vic involved, he starts missing out on Seth's stuff, sporting events and things like that, and it just creates more tension. And you get the impression that Seth is pretty much ready to do anything he can just to undermine Justin's success. It's for an 1.5-hour movie. There seems like be a whole season worth of drama in this thing. If this is a TV show, it's pretty intense. I gotta mention that Justin. It seems almost like a faith-based movie, in a sense, because one, Justin loves racing in the first place, which I'm surprised this whole racing thing never came up sooner. But he has conversations with God. Like he daydreams or dreams at night or whatever, and he's hanging out with God, who happens to look like his favorite race car driver. So, and there, it's really sort of just icky weird that this happens. I don't know. It's unsettling, and add to the fact that a lot of this is narrated inside of Justin's head, so it's a Malcolm in the Middle. It's a Malcolm in the Middle type thing, because Malcolm is always narrating his own story in Malcolm in the Middle, but he looks at the camera, he breaks the fourth wall and talks to the audience when those things happen. In this, there is so much narration going on by Justin in his head, explaining how things go along. And for me, that is a no-go in so many cases. It's very rare that anybody can ever really get that right when it comes to a storytelling mode. It seems like a really bad, cheap shortcut. I realize you only had an 1.5 hours to put something together and put on the Disney Channel, and you're not exactly looking at the Disney Channel as like, oh my God, we're going to get the highest quality production and writing and acting or anything else. It's not that it's horrible, it's just that it's not always good. So, yeah, it feels like a really optimistic Malcolm knockoff. Like, Malcolm is very pessimistic in the show. In this, Justin is so optimistic. And I don't know, I think they pretty much were making this. He was both Malcolm and Justin at the same time, I think. Not sure. It depends on when it was actually filmed, but I can't remember when Malcolm in the Middle started. And I could check right now, but I'm not going to bore you as I tap away. You're bored enough. So yeah, there's scenes with God and him asking existential questions, and as sweet as it is, the final scene is just it's sweet. But it's from a filmmaking perspective, from a storytelling perspective, it's just really bad. I'm sorry. And Justin, they tell you what happened with Justin at the end of the movie, and of course, by the way, he starts getting into this and he starts getting better, and he's still dealing with his health. And sometimes that comes into conflict with his ability to race, and it becomes difficult. That's where there's a lot of the drama comes from. By the way, it's 40 minutes in the movie before soapbox derbies are even mentioned. I'm just telling you this right now. 40 minutes in the movie before the entire crux of the film is even mentioned. We don't even see a soapbox derby car until like 43 minutes in. I checked. It's like on the ground and being raced like 43, 45 minutes in. It's pretty amazing. And of course, somehow this rookie kid comes out of nowhere, and I'm going to spoil some of this for you. But not the complete ending. He goes to the Nationals in Akron, Ohio. And by the way, I've been to the location where they have the National Soapbox Derby racing in Akron, Ohio. I've been on that hill. It was half my life ago. I was a teenager, but yeah, I've been there. It's the weirdest thing. So I don't know if they actually filmed it there. I was trying to check, and I didn't look at the credits at the end too closely. But yeah, if they did shoot it there, awesome. I was there way back when, 1,000,000 years ago. And it's exciting. It's a fun little sport, and Justin actually is responsible for actually making major changes to the sport, because it wasn't easy getting where he got to. So, and there were some people who at the very last minute pushed back as to him being even able to race at all, even though he was in the finals. So when they already got to Akron, Ohio, they're like, well, maybe he's not allowed to because of this. I won't ruin it for you for what it is, because it literally changes the game for him, not only him, but other disabled kids in the race, in soapbox derby racing. So, yeah, it's not a good movie. It's not a great movie. It's a sweet movie if you want to see a biography about a kid who perseveres and in his life, and in for kids with disabilities overall. Yeah, this is for you. This is sort of like the other one. Well, we saw with girls in competing in drag racing. The one, I don't know, we saw a few weeks ago that had Captain Marvel in it, little tiny Brie Larson. But yeah, it's the kind of thing that Disney makes movies about kids that are based on true stories that make big changes, and this is one of them. And yeah, I mean, I love Frankie Muniz. He's believable. He's a good actor. He's got the humor, and he's so earnest in this one as compared to so cynical in Malcolm. It's interesting to see him this way. There's moments where Malcolm is earnest and hopeful, but that usually gets pretty well crushed by Bryan Cranston and his mom, and yeah, for pretty much everybody in his family pretty quickly. But in this, he has one brother who crushes his spirit on occasion, but that bond gets tested, and it survives. Let's just say that it might even make you cry. It didn't make me cry, but if you like weepy kind of family bonding moment kind of things, you might like this. So that's all I can really say about Miracle in Lane 2. If you like into soapbox derbies and inspiring stories of kids overcoming disabilities and where in places where they normally would not be allowed to compete, then this is for you. But otherwise, if you're looking for top-notch in all other aspects, yeah, this is not gonna be that movie. It's just the way it is. It's the 2000s, like the early 2000s on Disney Channel movies. There's a whole glut of them. There's a whole glut of them that are just automatically, when I see the year 2000, I'm just like, oh, this is not gonna be good. I know I'm prejudging it. Every once in a while they surprise me, but this didn't surprise me. So that's all I can really say about it. Good luck, Justin, and everybody else you've inspired though, to fight for their place in all sorts of sporting events, especially the soapbox derby racing. So let's pick tomorrow's episode. 723, ooh, way up. So, yeah. 723 we already had. All right, 723 was Tuck Everlasting. Let's pick another one. 269. I think we had this one. Did we just have this one? Nope, we didn't. Holy crap. Holy crap. Wow. I didn't expect this one. It's been so long. And this is the first in a trilogy of films. It's the last in the trilogy of films, but this is the first of 3 that we've got to watch since I started this. We're watching Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with that film. It's a little bit of a controversial take. But I'll come back here and refresh myself with the film and see how it's lived up after these 7 years. Good grief, 7 years. Oof. Yeah. Stories to tell. I will see you back here tomorrow with Iron Man 3 on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Bye.